Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we have FPL Essentials for Gameweek 4, the weekly FPL series covering everything you need to know, from differentials to captaincy to our weekly strategy section. This week we are focusing on a wildcard, so if you do enjoy the videos, please do consider liking and subscribing. It's free. Without further ado, let the games begin. And we'll start off this week with a recap of our differentials from last week. I predicted Mbeumo, Bowen and Morgan Gibbs White to score big. Mbeumo did deliver those points with 14 points after netting 2 goals versus Southampton. Morgan Gibbs White was unlucky not to return and did pick up a yellow card as Forest faced Wolves, so we did manage to only get 1 point. And Bowen is a success still with 5 points as an assist against Man City. This week I will give you 3 new differentials, but I will still consider this week to go for Mbeumo and Bowen. Morgan Gibbs White has a game against Liverpool, so I will be swaying him this week. Moving on to the first of our differentials this week, Nicholas Jackson. The Chelsea forward has scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist in the opening 3 game weeks, totaling just under 2 expected goals, working out at 0.8 expected goals per 90. He's selected by just 6% of managers, under the 10% we need to class him as a differential, and he's second to Haaland for the ICT index for forwards. If you don't know what the ICT index is, it measures an average of a player's influence, creativity and threat. His fixtures in the next 3 are Bournemouth, West Ham and Brighton, which are good fixtures for Chelsea in attack perspective and especially Jackson, noticing how Cole Palmer took on a bit of a playmaker role as he did in the 6-2 match against Wolves. One more notable thing about him is managers looking to move on from Isak to get some extra budget to spend elsewhere can go to Jackson, who's $1 million cheaper. Next up on the differentials, we do have Heung-min Son, who has a fixture against Arsenal, which on paper, yes, it's not the best fixture, but in context, it's a fixture at home against Arsenal in the North London derby, which is always a close game between the two teams, while Arsenal do not have their first choice midfield. None of their first choice midfield. Odegaard because of injury, Marino because of injury, and Rice because of suspension. Now, with that in mind, it probably pushes Jesus into the starting 11, meaning Havertz drops back into midfield, and there's a lot of imbalance when they play like that. I do think this will be a very close game, and I think Son will definitely be at the centre of everything that Tottenham do. Just like he was last year when he played as a central striker between there, which he will do again if Solanke is unfit to start. He scored 3 goals against Arsenal last season and scored 8 goals and provided 2 assists in all of his games against Arsenal. Whilst on the international break, he got a goal and 2 assists, adding to his tally for the season, where he netted 2 in a home game against Everton in game week 2, tallying 16 points. A lot of his owners will be hoping for points. Only question is, will you be one of them? Third on our differentials list is Joshua Zirkzee. The Dutch international has had 1 goal and 1 assist whilst out on international break, and has had a mixed start to life in the Premier League, scoring in his debut off the bench against Fulham, to having a disallowed goal for offside against Brighton, to creating 0.88 expected goals versus Liverpool, but not netting a return. With the way he plays as neither a number 9 or a number 10 traditionally, playing similar to the way Ivan Toney does, being involved more in the build-up in the play and in the actual shooting, I see some very good potential for assists and goals, especially that against Southampton, one of the promoted teams, who, as I spoke about last week, haven't really been adopting a low block style of play and just having a go-for-it approach. He's selected by just 3.8% of all managers, and those 3.8%, in my opinion, I've got a very good idea. Only question is, are you willing to join them? To conclude our differentials, we have a double pick from Bournemouth, Semenyo and Tavernier. Semenyo, who has 2 goals and 1 assist in the opening 3, selected by 5.4%, a figure which I thought would be much higher, and Tavernier, the much more spicy pick, selected by 0.3%, who's had a goal to start off this season. You may be thinking, what does Tavernier have that can get him ahead of Semenyo? The underlying numbers. According to the ICT index, which is a player's influence, creativity and threat, averaged out, Semenyo is in the top 10, but Tavernier is 5th out of all players. Now, the players he's betted by are Haaland, Salah, Saka and Luis Diaz, and he has a better ICT index so far than Palmer, Mbeumo and De Bruyne. I think I'd go for Semenyo, but if you're looking to get that real edge, or your name is Alex Voyo, I would go for Marcus Tavernier. In this week's strategy section, we do have a wildcard team. The wildcard team goes as follows. The bench is Slicker, Saliba, Mosquera and Lancashire. Saliba is on the bench for the game against Tottenham. Lancashire is a 4.5 forward, not going to play. And Slicker is the same, 4 million goalkeeper, won't play. Mosquera is a 4 million playing defender from Wolves, what everyone thought Barker would be. He just had some creative threat, creating 0.25 expected goals against Chelsea and scoring on international duty for Colombia. In the team, we do have Henderson, Leif Davis, Konsa, and Trent. Trent has looked amazing so far. I'm very surprised he's only got the points to go with these. Had only the 20 points. I am expecting him to get a big haul sometime soon, and he almost did have it against United, if not for an offside goal. Eze, Rodgers, Saka, Smith Rowe, and Salah make up a 5-man midfield in a 3-5-2 formation. Eze finally got his first return of the season in Game Week 3, and I do think the returns will keep coming. The plan would be to move on to Mbeumo in Game Week 6 and keep Eze for the next 3. Salah and Saka need no introduction. Most people are making the move Saka to Salah, but while wildcarding now, you can have a similar team to the draft that people mock up in Game Week 6 and attack the fixtures now. Morgan Rodgers has been exceptional for performance-wise, but for FPL points, which is what we need, he's not been that good. But I do expect him to come into some serious form lately. I do expect when Watkins starts to come into form that Rodgers will as well. Smith Rowe, same story. I think when Rooney starts to come into form, when they start clicking more as a team, I think he will be excellent. And up front, Haaland, the man, again, needs no introduction, the robot, probably the captain option this week. And João Pedro. João Pedro has played a bit sore for Brazil. He played 45 minutes and is on the plane back. He looks like he should start against Ipswich, but it's a slight doubt. In that case, then Saliba would come off the bench. And now on to our last segment of captaincy. We'll start with a recap as we did with our differentials. Saka, Haaland and Salah were our candidates last game week. Saka getting a lackluster return, only providing an assist leading to 6 points and a bad captain. 17 points for both Haaland and Salah. I'm running out of ways to describe Haaland. 3 goals again, a hat-trick again. This time against West Ham. He's got Brentford next. Do you captain him every week now? And Salah. You can imagine my fear as Salah captainer when Haaland scored that hat-trick. But luckily, as you can see in the top left corner, Salah prevailed with a goal and 2 assists against his favourite team, Manchester United. So now for the big question. Who do you captain? Saka, who plays Tottenham away, Haaland, who plays Brentford at home, and Salah, who plays Nottingham Forest at home. Their records against these teams as follows. Salah has 2 goals against Nottingham Forest, Haaland has 1 goal and 1 assist against Brentford, and Saka has 3 goals and 2 assists against Tottenham. Out of the 3, Saka is definitely a differential option, but it could be a differential that does seem to work out. Tottenham, with the way they line up and Postecoglou's high defensive line, can definitely be exploited, and Jesus coming into the squad might be better for Saka, allowing him to be inverted more with Jesus' false 9 role, with him and Martinelli taking more shots at goal than they would previously. Between Haaland and Salah, Haaland does slightly edge it for me, given that expected minutes, he has the best anytime goal scorer odds and best anytime return odds. I could still be swayed by Salah, as he is not got the worst fixture, and the fixture is definitely balanced for me. I think there's not much in it with the fixture, and I think it is a very close decision, but I would just edge it for Haaland, given the safety in numbers of captain. One last thing before we go our separate ways, I'm going to give you an FPL top tip every week at the end of my videos. This week is trust your instincts. And on that note, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for FPL Essentials for Game Week 5. Peace!